Hey fellas, Onus here, and welcome back to With a Y, and today it's time for some more very, very juicy slander posting. But in a weird sort of way, the death battle that inevitably spiked up this discussion was Sentry vs. Superboy Prime, which came out yesterday, and I gotta be honest, this is a really fun one. These are two comic book powerhouses that are like the comics at their most absurd when it comes to power scale. And I mean that like very literally. Sentry is a superhero that around his debut was advertised as this kind of lost Stan Lee 60s era comic book creation that had only recently been discovered. Like they did fake Stan Lee interviews and made fake comic panels about the Sentry, but it was all a twist about how he, in universe, had caused everybody to forget about him, including himself. And like, there's like just some really neat stuff about it. You might recall him from being in Thunderbolts, and Superboy Prime is honestly like almost like a joke character. Like he's the same as Gwenpool in that their origins they are literally from our reality. Like the Earth that you're watching this YouTube video on, that is where Superboy Prime comes from. Like he read comics and shit, and like he became a villain for a while, and his whole thing is that like he punches holes in reality that like retcon the entire continuity. And I knew that as soon as this shit got made the matchup, it was gonna be a wash. Like Sentry is absurdly powerful, but Superboy Prime is just so many leagues above, it is insane. Like the initial reactions people were having to this are like, what the fuck is Sentry even gonna do? Like, dude, Sentry is going to get jobbed on his death battle debut. OMG, I hate this. But ultimately, like, who could you really have pitted him against if you wanted to keep it like comics exclusive, I suppose? Who has like a similar meta reason for why they should be paired against each other? Now, the thing about Superboy Prime is that he is like punishingly niche in a lot of other ways, though. In the comics, he's absurdly powerful, but you don't really see him in any other media at all. Like, Absolute Batman has way more fucking motion than him. This guy even pointed out when this fight got announced that Superboy Prime's first adaptation, like where he's an actual character, is gonna be in Death Battle. I checked his Wikipedia page, updated today, and his previous adaptations either do not have a hyperlink for themselves, or he did not have a speaking role. I fucking love Scribblenauts as much as the next guy, but just being a character you can type in the name of to spawn, I don't really think that counts as full characterization. Come back to me when you get a minifigure in a Lego game. Superboy Prime appears in Death Battle, where he fought and defeated the Sentry. Let's go over the actual Death Battle. I have some like moments here I wanted to highlight that I thought were very funny. Speaking of the two examples I just gave, the footage they had to use for like of them in other media was Sentry as a Lego minifigure and Superboy Prime it is Scribblenauts summoned. Man, look at this shit. They had literally nothing else. Sentry has a movie appearance and Superboy Prime has like a motion comic animated panel. I need you to understand how absurd this matchup was from the jump. Superboy Prime is like probably the only comic book character you could argue actually knows what Death Battle is. He's using terms that I throw around on these videos for fun. I'm saying I could do that. Not that I will. Do you have any idea how OP I am? I'm a power scaler's dream, and I love a good tournament arc. This is an actual line from the comics from Superboy Prime, man. It's fucking incredible. Like, I feel like you don't even see Gwenpool as in the weeds as this shit can get. I'm spoiling the ending for you. Sentry loses, but in a really, really cool way. There's also this particular piece of hand-drawn animation that I just cannot get over. It looks so fucking sick. Gore warning, if the dude with a fist through his torso like Omni-Man did half the Guardians of the Globe wasn't warning enough. Bye-bye, Bob. That transition from the Sentry hand-drawn animated thing to this rotoscope depiction of the Void goes so fucking hard, and they like keep it around for a little bit. It's time to play. Like, this is so good. I feel like when we talk about the animation styles of various death battle matchups, it can be easy to be a little sad that there isn't like always these really well done 3D animated fights, but I'm personally a fan of the 2D sprite fight style because that's what I got into death battle with when I was a casual viewer as a kid. To be fair, I still am a casual viewer. I'm just here for the slander post mostly, but the 2D styles lead to really creative shit like this, which I just fuck with super heavy. They also had like some really good in-character one-liners here. In-character so far in as I'm LARPing being a major fan of either of these characters, I just think that conceptually they're very cool from what I knew about them before this death battle. Like, look at this line.
Haven't you ever read a comic book, you big freaking nerd? There's always a happy ending.
And the shit that Superboy Prime does to prove this to the Void is like just actually fucking peak. Like he just hits him with the reality breaking punch. Just shatters him across the multiverse, just scatters him like Gaster, and he wakes up living a normal life.
Best sleep I've had in years.
Crisis averted.
Like, that is so cool, man. Like, how do you kill a guy in order to give him his happy ending where he doesn't have to deal with, like, all the bullshit he does in his canon material, dude? Death Battle number 209. I just think, like, thematically, that might be my favorite ending to a death battle ever. It's, like, just such a creative idea. Using Superboy Prime's continuity-changing abilities to not just, like, erase somebody from the time stream, but to do, like, a moral thing that Superman would do. A journey that Superboy Prime himself had to go on because he used to be, like, a not-so-great guy. There was one more in-episode gag I really appreciated from this episode where Superboy Prime, upon being announced the winner, comes in to critique the death battle analysis of his shit and act like an average death battle fan who had their fave lose would on Twitter. Man, it's so fucking funny.
The winner is Superboy Prime! You hack frauds really tried to lowball me, but I checked the clock and it's prime time, baby.
I feel like the stakes are not gonna get this high on, like, the level of person we're having fight on Death Battle for a long time. Like, Superboy Prime is, like, maybe the most absurd character I've seen used in these, but I'm also do not have an encyclopedic knowledge of the entire series. And the next fight is gonna be Aang from The Last Airbender versus the Traveler from Genshin Impact. And listen, I don't actually hate Genshin Impact that much, but I do not know a whole lot about the lore beyond, like, what I've played in the early areas. It just seems like the universe scales so much higher than Avatar. I feel like they're gonna do my boy Aang super dirty, unless they, like, pull out some fucking DVD extra trivia on some bullshit ability he has. Technically has a canon source, but I've never fucking seen on screen. But yeah, that's one of the ways the slander got weird on this one, where Death Battle actively gets self-aware about it and slanders themselves by having Superboy Prime be the mouthpiece for the type of complaint you can see during not just Death Battle conversations, but pretty much any power scaling convo. As far as slander goes, there's just, like, shit in the comics from Superboy Prime where he's doing this sort of shit. Like, there's this panel from one of his more recent comics. Oh god, I'm in a 9-panel grid, aren't I? I better keep moving before Tom King gets me. You had people doing edits of other panels of Superboy Prime when he was, like, actually existed on our Earth. I don't think this is real, but it would be very funny if it is. Death Battle hates Kyle Rayner. They are so biased against DC Comics. At the same time, I just know they hate Dragon Ball. I can prove it. You're alright, Superboy Prime. Like, I feel like even Sentry fans who wanted to ride or die their fave till they inevitably got put down behind the shed and had to ride out into the sunset can take something satisfying away from the ending, like where of all the ways that a Death Battle character has lost a fight, that might be one of the ways one has gotten hoed the least disrespectfully. Even like a few days before the actual episode came out, you had Sentry fans just doing propaganda, like, what the fuck is the Digital Circus doing in this subreddit, man? Void, look, I know we don't get along, but I think I might have found a way to beat Superboy Prime. My buddy Wallace beat me to the punch on making a video on this particular meme, which would have been a fun one to cover, but his is good too. It's all scripted and, like, thought out ahead of time. There just, like, isn't a lot of straight up art slandering one or the other, because I just feel like the matchup wasn't as disrespectful as it possibly could have been. Like, instead it's just Denji getting more fucking heat from the opposite flank. The Winner's Lounge shenanigans. This is from Vlad Dunculus. Superboy, please. For the last time, I am not retconning your girlfriend into the Winner's Lounge, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was not gonna happen, big dog. Superboy Prime's gone through his redemption arc and isn't using it for, like, really niche and petty things like that. Small fry, I guess you could call it. From Maximum Chip, totally accurate prediction to Sentry versus Superboy Prime. Probably. Solid, maybe.
I saw a guy do this in a toothpaste ad once. Ta-da!
Oh my fucking god. I did see this one guy, Big D Ditto, just like begging for his life ahead of the actual fight. I think he was trying to give a argument for why the retcon punch Superboy Prime has he could live through, and saying, you can get off the sinking ship. It's not too late, but... Anyways, I feel like we were all winners in this way, because that was just like a fun episode to watch. I'm not like a gigantic fan of either character involved, but I don't know. It was just a really creative one in my opinion. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at @withAY. That email's in the description if you guys want to send me any video topics. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on. Anyways, piss off.